timestamping. When we take our picture, we're going to want to add a timestamp to it so that we can keep track of what time the picture was taken. As well, we could print other data to the picture if we wanted to, such as a reading from a sensor. I'm not going to go into that, but I will show you how to apply the date and the time to both the file path of the picture. So like instead of it just being like imagename.jpg, it actually reads out the date and time. I'll also show you how to get that written onto the picture so that, you know, if you were to do time lapse, like in one of my earlier videos that I showed you, you can do time lapse with the pictures, each picture being stamped. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is update your Raspberry Pi if you haven't done so already using sudo apt-get update. If you've been following along recently, you will have a up-to-date version. The next thing you're going to want to do is download a package. So using sudo apt-get install, you're going to want to download a package called Image Magic. And this package is the package that allows you to open up the picture and add something to it and then save it again. Now, of course, I've already downloaded this package here, and so it was very quick for me, a quick installation. Clearing the screen, what we're going to want to do is, if we go back to our window here that it has the desktop, in idle 3, we're going to open up that script that we wrote before. We're gonna take a picture. So cookie camera. Okay, so in this program here that we set up in an earlier video, we're taking a picture by the name of newimage.jpg. So if I run that right now, we have a new picture taken. Great. If we go to view that picture, we called it new image. All right, there we go. So we have an image taken, and now we're going to want to timestamp it, and we're going to want to timestamp it like somewhere down here, right, or somewhere on the picture. And the way you go about doing that with our newly downloaded package, I'm just going to close this. With our newly downloaded package, we're going to specify the command. We're going to specify the command convert, and we're going to say convert. And what are we going to convert? Well, we're going to convert our image, which is saved in the Pi desktop cookie directory, and it's called newimage.jpg. And we are going to specify how big we want our writing to be with point size. So we're going to say point size 32. We're going to say that we want it to be red, like red text. And then we're going to tell it where to add the annotation, and that location is going to be 700 pixels to the right and 700 from the top. And what is our message going to be? Well, I'm going to say boobly woobly, right? That's a professional thing to say. And then we're going to specify where we want to save our image, and I'm going to want to save it back in the cookie directory, and I could say new image. I could just write over the image so that, you know, that's it. And if I hit return, there we go. Presumably it did something, right? So let's go back and check if something's been done. New image. Uh-oh. So because I specified this as 700 from the right, or from the top, and because it's a 1200 by 700 image, there's our problem. So if we go say 500, all right, boobly woobly, there we go. Oh, it did work. It did work the first time. My Mac is just lying to me. There we go. So we have boobly woobly written on this picture at the 700 position and the 500 position. I thought I wrote it off screen, but no, I didn't notice the gray bar at the bottom there. So there we go. We have imported our picture, we have written something to it, and then we've exported our picture through to the same file path. So that's great and all, but again, if we're going to be doing time-lapse photography, we're not going to want to execute this command for every single file with a unique name in it. And this is where you turn around and go, well, we have a computer at our disposal, how about we use it? And so on our Raspberry Pi, let's open up a new window. Alright, and we're going to save this as a new file. in our cookie folder, and it's going to be called cookie timestamp.py. Alright, so we have cookie timestamp, and I'm going to get the cookie timestamp program to do everything, to take all the picture and all that, so we're going to have to set up our camera again. So we're going to import PyCamera. We are going to then, for neatness, I'm going to specify a file name, so our file name. And our file name, so file name, is going to be called, when I say file name, I mean like file path and name. So let's call file name, we're going to save it to our desktop cookie folder, and we're going to call it new pic.jpg. Alright, so we have our file name, file path, and then we're going to take a picture using our camera. And so we're going to say with PyCamera.PyCamera as camera, we're going to say camera.resolution is equal to the tuple 1280 by 720. We're then going to take a picture, and our picture is going to be saved to file name. And then we're going to print we have taken a picture, so we know stuff is going on. Alright, so we're now going to take a picture, and this isn't anything new. What's new here is adding in the command to actually get the timestamp happening. So we're going to create a variable here called timestamp message, and the timestamp message is going to be, check out this message. Cool, right? And so now we have our timestamp message that we want to add to it, and let's comment out here our timestamps message. Alright, cool. And then we're going to call the command, or specify the command we want to call. And if you were following along in the last video on how to take a movie, we're going to have to import from subprocess, we're going to import a function called call, and call is going to let us actually use that convert command that we executed in earlier. So specify the command. Timestamp command is, we could just write it as a string, so we're going to say usr bin convert, and then we're going to add a space just like we did before. And what are we going to convert? We're going to convert our file name, or the link out to the file, and then we are going to tell it what size font we want to write with. We are going to say that we want our fill to be red. We're going to want to annotate it to, I can't remember what it was, 700, 500, and then we're going to add a space. And notice how I am using double quotations here, that I'm doing that for a specific reason, and the reason is if we flip back here, we see that our message is in single quotations. I'm actually not too sure if it has to be single or double quotations, but what I do know is we need quotations within our quotations. So I'm going to specify a single quotation and then end it with a double quotation for that reason, and then we can say what our message is, and our message is timestamp message. And then, of course, because this timestamp message, which is a string, was within quotations, we're going to have to start a new set of quotations, end the set of quotations that surrounds our timestamp message, and then we can carry on and specify where do we want to save it. We want to save it as our file name, rewrite the file over. So if we do that, then we have our command. Whew, that was a long statement. Okay, so we're going to want to execute our command, and the way we go about doing that is writing call. We specify the command that we want to execute. We specify shell is equal to true, and then we've called it. So now we've executed our command. Now let's get some print statements in here. So we're going to say print about to timestamp our picture, and then at the end we're going to say print picture has been timestamped. Cool. So we can save this now, and what this is going to allow us to do is take a picture. We're going to take a picture, we're going to save it as newpic.jpg. We are going to then execute a command that's going to convert newpic.jpg, and it's going to write on a timestamp message, and our timestamp message is check out this message, and then we're going to save it as the newpic.jpg. We're going to call that command, and then we're going to let ourselves know that we are done. So let's run that and see what happens. Alright, so we have taken a picture, about to timestamp our picture. Picture has been timestamped. Excellent, right? Okay, so let's take a look, see if that actually works. So we have new pic here, and check out our message. Out this message. Okay, that isn't great placement, but you know, these you can move it, change that 700, 500 to whatever you think is appropriate. 700, 700 kind of worked well the second time I loaded it up. So you know, you can play around and figure out where you want that to be. Okay, now the problem is we're saving this as newpic.jpg. If you're going to do timestamp on images that you're taking over and over, you're not going to want to write over the same image over and over. You're going to want to specify unique file names for each picture that you take. And to keep ourselves organized, the way we're going to do that is we're going to navigate to our cookie folder, and we can see that this is starting to get a little bit cluttered. Let's create a new folder, and it's going to be called timestamped pics. Cool. So we got timestamped pics now, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a series of pictures, like every second or something like that, every couple seconds, and it's going to go into our timestamped pics folder. So I'm going to save this because I'm uploading all of these files to online so that you guys can download them. I'm going to save this as cookie timestamp v2, and cookie timestamp v2 is going to actually save the files as like have the extension, the date and time that the picture was taken. Okay, so some things we're going to have to change here. We specified this file name here. We're going to change this to our file path. And the reason we're going to do that is because our file name, the name itself, is going to change every time, and I don't want to confuse anybody. So our file path is now home.py desktop cookie timestamped, oh shoot, what did I call it? Pics. So we've specified where we want our files to be saved. We're going to say pic count. This is how many pictures we want to take. We're going to say we want to take 5 pictures, and or pic total. Let's call it pic total because I'm going to use count somewhere else. So pic total is going to be equal to 5, and our pic count is currently equal to 0, as in we have taken 0 pictures so far. So we're going to create a while loop, and in the while loop we're going to say while the pic count is less than pic total, do whatever, and we can advance this pic counter whenever we need to. So what we're going to have to do every time that this thing iterates, we're going to want to know what the current time is, right? Because if we're saying we're taking our picture every 10 minutes, we're going to have to update the fact that we're doing that. The way that we do that is we first import a module. Of course, everything from a module. So we're going to import from a module called datetime a function called datetime. And this allows us to figure out lets the Python script figure out what it is that, what time it is. And because we want some time between our pictures, we're going to, from time, import sleep so that we have a bit of a delay between our pictures. Going back to our while loop here, we're going to grab the current time. And the way we do that is by first specifying our current time is equal to datetime dot now. We want to now name our picture. So like create a file name. So create file name for our picture. And the file name that we are going to call it is going to be made up of both the time that it is as well as the extension .jpeg. So we're going to say pick time, which is just the raw time, is going to be from current time, and it's going to be formatted as a string in the format of, and you guys can change this if you want, but I'm going to go with year dot month dot day, and separated by a hyphen, and then we're going to get our hour, our minute, and our second. So now we know what the time is for our pick. We're going to say that our pick name is equal to pick time plus .jpeg, because we need an extension, and then we're going to say complete file path. So complete file path is equal to file path plus pick name, right? So now we have appended on to our file path here what the name of our picture is, whatever that is at the time that we're taking our picture. So great, we have this name, we have this location to take our picture. So with, and this is where we're going to take up, set up our camera. We can actually probably just, now let's just write new. So with PyCamera, you can see what I'm doing here as camera. We're going to specify our resolution. Our resolution is 1280 by 720, and we're going to say camera capture, and we are going to capture it as complete file path. Excellent. And then we can have the dummy print that says we have taken a picture. Cool. So now we've taken our picture, and the file path should be the current time. Now, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to timestamp the actual time. No more of this, like check this out or boobly woobly or whatever. So we're going to create, or I should actually add some better comments here. Take picture using new file path. Sounds good. So now we've taken our picture, and now we're going to want to create our timestamp variables, or whatever the time is right now. And the way we go about doing that is, because we have our current time here, we've already set up what the time is, and our timestamp message is going to be very similar, just like how we say current time dot string format the time to this. We're going to say current time. Wait, what am I doing here? Timestamp message is equal to current time dot string format time, and we could write it as the same thing, but instead what I'm going to do is, because this isn't a file name, I can make it a little bit nicer. I'm gonna do the year, month, day, and then I'm going to add a space, and I'm going to say hour, minute, second, because that's usually how most people format time. And there we go. So now we have a real message that is really our time, and just like before, we're going to have to create our timestamp command, and that command again is going to be a super duper long string, and that super duper long string involves calling usr bin convert. We want to add a space, and then we're going to specify our file path, and our file path is complete file path, right? Because we've already set that up before. And then after we specify the file path, we're going to tell the program what it is we want to do. So what do we want to do? We want to set up point size, I don't know, 36, and then I'm going to just create a new line here because we're kind of running out of room. And then we're going to specify that our fill is red, and we are going to annotate to 700, well, let's go 650. We don't want to go off the edge of the picture. and then remember the single quote, because we have to specify what our message is, and our message is, what is our message? Timestamp message. And then we are going to close off that quote around the timestamp message and then add a space, and then we're going to specify again our complete file path. Just running out of room. Okay, cool. So now we've taken, create timestamp command to have executed, and then we're going to, as you can probably guess, actually execute the command. Yay! So we do that using the call from subprocess import call. We're going to call our timestamp command, specify shell equals true, and close off those brackets. Okay, so now we can say to the world, we have time-stamped our picture. Yay! Okay, cool. So then we need to, because we're in a while loop right now, we don't want to go on forever. So what we want to do is advance our picture counter, and we called it pic count. So pic count is going to increment by 1. Now, I mentioned that if you're going to do timestamp, you're going to probably want a certain time in between your pictures, and all of this is going to take some time, but it's probably going to be like on the order of a couple seconds. Now, because I don't want to be waiting 5 minutes to take 5 pictures, I'm just going to simulate 5 minutes with 5 seconds kind of thing, so we're going to have 5 seconds between each of our captures. All this old code that we have down here from before, the simple days, we're going to delete, and there we go. I'm going to give this a save, and just walking through the program again, what we're doing here is we're going to import a bunch of modules and particular functions from those modules. We're creating the directory, or not creating, we're specifying the directory, we're specifying how many pictures we want to take, how many pictures we have taken, and then we go into a while loop that says, alright, until our picture count meets our total count of pictures that we want to take, we grab the time, we create a file name for our picture that includes the date and time in it, we add an extension to it, we combine the two together for simplicity's sake, and then using the camera, we take a picture of the camera, saved as the complete file path. We then create a timestamp message that has the date and the time on it. We then call on our convert command and append that in red text to our actual picture, advance the counter, and then take a little bit of a nap. So let's run that and see what happens. So we've taken one picture, we're sleeping now, probably. We've taken another picture. Okay, so we should be seeing now it updating. It's concerning me because my little idiot light isn't coming on my camera. But let's check out our folder here. Like, this is still running, right? Did I? Oh. That's a mistake. Aha. So let's fix that. So I didn't specify a slash here, which is very important. So I'm going to specify that slash there so that we're actually saving it in our timestamped pics folder. But let's do that again. To make it a bit faster, let's add that to 3 seconds now. So we're going to run the module again. My mistake. There we go. Now the red light's coming on. So now I can actually see we're taking a picture and I don't have to be concerned. So we've taken a picture, we've timestamped our picture, we're sleeping for 3 seconds, we're taking another picture, timestamped our picture, so on and so forth. If we check out our actual folder here, we can see that it is steadily being populated with new pictures, and there you have it. So let's take a look at what's actually in here. So I'll just wait until this is done, so I don't open up pictures that it's trying to open up. Okay, there we go, we're done. Let's open up these 5 pictures here. Open. Okay, so we can see that we have our date and we have our time, and they're all a few seconds apart. Now I know I specified 3 seconds, but it takes time for the Pi to actually do this. You can also see that the time matches the time that's here, and we are taking our pictures. Awesome, isn't it? So there you go. Time-stamped pictures. and even time-lapse photography in this case. In the next video, I'm going to show you how you can use your camera as a motion detector. And I'll go into the details of how you can get that going, because we're not going to catch our cookie thief with a timestamp picture unless we know when to take the picture. We don't want to sort through about like 100,000 pictures that we take every day. Instead, we want to sort through the ones with our cookie thief in it. So I'll see you in that video.